We tend to toss the word pride around like it's purely a good thing. Take pride in your work, right? Show some pride.
Hmm.
But we're looking at a text today, 12 Deadly Sins, Part 1, that just slams the brakes on that whole idea.
It really does. It argues we're confusing pride with confidence, and it draws this massive distinction right up front.
And what is that distinction?
Well, the source defines true confidence as grounded self-trust. It's stable. But the pride it's talking about, the deadly kind, is an inflated identity defended at all costs.
Defended at all costs. Wow, that sounds exhausting.
It is.
So our mission for this deep dive is to, I guess, find that line. When does healthy self-respect, mutate into this destructive thing?
And the text says it's a very specific psychological shift. It's not a slow slide.
Oh, okay.
It pinpoints the exact moment. It's when your identity becomes fused with your image, when you stop being who you are and start being how you're perceived.
Okay, let's unpack that, because on the outside, a proud person can just look, well, confident, successful even. How do you tell a difference?
The source gives us the internal monologue. Healthy pride, it thinks, I have value. It's a statement of
It's
fact.
simple enough.
But deadly pride, its internal monologue is, I must be superior.
Must. That word changes everything. It implies a threat, like if I'm not on top, I'm nothing.
Exactly. It's incredibly fragile. If your whole identity hangs on being better than everyone else, you are constantly under siege.
And that explains the behavior.
That's it. This is why the text says it shows up as defensiveness, as contempt, and this total refusal to learn. Because you can't learn if you already have to be the best.
So the person in the meeting who shuts down all feedback, or the partner who just can't apologize, they're not showing strength.
They're showing panic. The text calls it hardened fragility. It's like a suit of armor with nothing solid inside.
So what's the root cause then? It's not an excess of self-worth.
Not at all. The source is very clear. It's a
Right.
deep fear of insignificance.
That is a huge reframe. So the domination, the constant one-upmanship, it's just a cover-up.
It's a defense mechanism. The text says rather than risk feeling small, the person just expands outward. They try to dominate the space to prove they exist.
But there has to be a cost to living that way. I mean, it sounds incredibly lonely.
It's completely isolating. You can't let anyone in the fortress. The source says intimacy requires vulnerability. But to the prideful mind, vulnerability feels like collapse.
If you admit a weakness, the whole inflated image just shatters.
Right. So you're walled off.
Yeah.
And it's not just relationships that suffer, it's your own growth. You mentioned stagnation earlier.
Yeah, the text was really strong on that point.
Because pride prevents repair. An apology feels like defeat. If saying I was wrong feels like you're losing a battle, you will never, ever correct your course.
You just stay stuck in the mistake to save face. So if pride is the poison, the text has to offer an antidote.
It does, and it's a word that makes a lot of people, cringe a little. Humility.
Right. We think of it as being a doormat, low self-esteem.
But the text is very aggressive in redefining that. It says humility is not self-hatred. It is accurate self-perception.
I love that. Accurate self-perception. It's almost a technical term. It's just data.
It's just data. The humble mindset is, I am valuable, and I am not above error. That's it.
Whereas the prideful one is, I must never be diminished.
One is flexible, the other is brittle. And that flexibility is what saves you. It allows for accountability. You could say, I messed up, and your identity is fine.
Because your identity wasn't built on being perfect in the first place.
Exactly.
This feels like it scales up too. We've been talking about individuals, but the text calls it deadly for a reason.
It absolutely scales. A family, a company, any system. Pride distorts perception at the root. If a leader has an ego that blocks out bad news, the errors just compound.
And the whole thing eventually collapses because it loses touch with reality.
That's the danger zone. When image matters more than coherence, more than truth.
Which brings us right back to the beginning. True confidence is grounded self-trust. Deadly pride is just fear in a mask.
And the only way to drop the mask is that accurate self-perception. Own your strengths, sure, but also own your capacity to be wrong.
So I want to leave you with one final thought from the source to mull over. It redefines strength completely. It says true strength isn't domination, it's the ability to change course. So ask yourself, where in your own life are you mistaking rigidity for strength? Thanks for joining our deep dive.